Don't let the fact that this year's Distinguished Service Award recipient grew up in the little town of Gilbert, South Carolina, fool you. There's nothing little about her accomplishments, and she never tires from serving and leading others. Born Frances Hook, this year's DSA recipient has known agriculture all her life. She was born and raised on a Lexington County farm. Her family raised row crops, including cotton. They grew peaches and raised laying hens. She joined her brother and sister with farm chores, including washing eggs in the afternoons after school and cutting and carrying wood for the family's stove and heater. Hard work and honest living are nothing new to Frances. In fact, she says those good old days were fun.
It was fun to weigh the cotton, and just a unique experience that the young people today have no idea what it's all about.
She also grew up with Farm Bureau in her blood. Her dad, Knowlton, was one of the founders of the Lexington County Farm Bureau back in 1944. Frances's mom, Ruth, was the Farm Bureau County's first secretary. So it's no surprise that Frances spent a lot of time around the Lexington County Farm Bureau office and with the extended Farm Bureau family at Farm Bureau events and activities. In 1962, Frances Hook was crowned Miss Lexington County Farm Bureau, a position that provided leadership training, opportunities to represent Farm Bureau, and an opportunity to gain a husband.
One of my friends and my sister and I went to Batesburg, Leesville, some on the weekends to a place called Jake's Diner, which was kind of like a little drive-in type thing, and that's actually where I met him. And then the afternoon that I went to the Bowling Springs Christmas parade as Miss Lexington County Farm Bureau, he actually followed me home to find out where I lived.
It's no wonder they got married a year later. Phil Price knew the moment he saw Frances that she was the girl of his dreams.
I thought she was the prettiest thing I'd ever seen.
Frances and Phil just celebrated their 43rd wedding anniversary. Their family has grown through the years. They have 2 grown sons, John and Jake. Jake, who is married to Dana, made Frances a grandmother twice over. A close family, they all continue to live on the farm. For more than 4 decades, the couple has worked side by side, supporting each other in the other's endeavors, and doing all they can to help the other succeed. There's a very mutual, yet humble respect between the two.
He has to pick up a lot of slack lots of times.
She keeps me going. She does all the bookkeeping. I don't know half of what's going on most of the time, but she does all the bookkeeping, and she's just a partner. She's a big help.
In 1972, Frances joined her husband as they took over the operation of Price's Feed Mill when Phil's dad, the founder of the now more than 60-year-old operation, retired. Frances keeps the books and lends a hand to do most any chore around the business that needs to be done. She also keeps goats in the pasture next to the mill. Once their sons got through school, Frances joined her husband in Farm Bureau work. He was already on the Lexington County Board of Directors when, in 1986, Frances was asked to join the Lexington County Farm Bureau Women's Committee.
I had been asked several times about coming to join, and after the boys got out of high school and out of college, I said, well, I need to get involved and do something for myself now. And so the first meeting that I went to, they asked if I would be chair, and of course I said yes. I have a problem saying no sometimes.
Frances served as the county women's chair for 10 years after that first meeting. In 1990, she joined the State Women's Committee and was appointed chair of that group in 1996. Frances would later go on to be elected as a representative of the Southern Farm Bureau region on the American Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee. She's currently serving in her 3rd 2-year term.
I can't think of anybody who deserves the Distinguished Service Award than you do, and I'd like to let you know how much I appreciate your service on the American Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee and how much I enjoy working with you. You make my job very easy. Frances, you have a spirit of cooperation and compassion that just makes you a joy to be around.
Frances takes Farm Bureau's mission to promote agriculture and surface and train new leaders very seriously. Under her leadership, long-time Farm Bureau programs have flourished.
We've accomplished a lot. I think our Youth Leadership Conference has grown quite a bit. Of course, we've added a day to it, and it's much more advanced than it used to be. We've done 2 cookbooks. The first one was the anniversary cookbook that we did in 1994, and they wanted us to reprint that, but because it was a special edition, we chose not to reprint it, but to do another cookbook with the proceeds going for agricultural education. And of course, the new ambassador program that we have just come up with, I think, is really one of the highlights of what we're doing to give not only the young women but the young men an opportunity to develop themselves not only in leadership and political arena, but just character and all kinds of things, and of course then giving them the scholarship opportunities.
Each year, Farm Bureau women's programs raise thousands of dollars, which are invested in the promotion and education of agriculture. With all her Farm Bureau activities, it's surprising that Frances has time for anything else. But it's been said that one of the signs of effective leaders is that they are very busy people. As a member and officer of the Gilbert Planning Commission, Frances is quite knowledgeable of property issues, which led to her becoming chair of Farm Bureau's Land Use Commodity Advisory Committee. She has also served on a number of other Farm Bureau task forces and study committees. Frances is on the Farm Bureau Board of Directors and has been a voting delegate on the state and national level. The list of her agricultural and Farm Bureau involvement continues, as does her commitment to the industry and to the organization. But Frances Price's service has not gone unrecognized. In 1996, she was awarded the honorary state FFA degree, and in 2004 was recognized by the National FFA organization with the honorary American FFA degree. She was one of 9 women across the state nominated to receive the prestigious Woman of the Year Award from Clemson Sigma Alpha sorority in 2001. That award recognizes women for outstanding contributions to the field of agriculture, as well as lifetime achievements and character development. Last year, Frances was the first recipient of the State House of Representatives Woman of Achievement Award, presented by the Republican Women's Caucus.
She is one of those people that you truly know she's paying it forward. I don't know who blessed her, but she just shines light on everybody she comes across, whether it's the students in her community, at the county level, at the state level, representing us at the national level. She's always smiling and she's always working for the people of South Carolina, and I'm just proud to know her.
In many ways, Frances has opened the door to enable women to play a more meaningful and active role in Farm Bureau.
In the past, women have not been given an opportunity really to step up to the plate and be a leader in the organization, but I see that changing. I think that we are being recognized for all the opportunities, for the knowledge and everything that we as women have, that we can contribute a lot to the organization. We contribute a lot to anything that we're involved in. We're not just bakers of cookies. We really make things happen.
Frances credits her faith as a motivator to succeed. It's hard to imagine, but in the midst of all her other activities, Frances remains an active and faithful member of the Gilbert United Methodist Church. Frances was honored in 1990 as the Gilbert United Methodist Woman of the Year. Many people with this many accomplishments and accolades may consider taking a break for a while, but not Frances. She and her husband continue to scan the horizon, looking for ways to adapt to a changing world. Waning business at their custom grinding feed mill in recent years led them to begin construction on a new operation, Price's Country Store.
We know that with the way the community is changing, that we're going to have to change again to meet the needs of the community, to be able to stay in business and to be productive.
The ability Frances has to scan the environment and adapt to changes is a talent she hopes young people will gain through Farm Bureau leadership programs.
We know that these people, young people, are taking away not only information about agriculture and about the political arena, but just character building. And we hope that what little bit we do in those 4 days will really make a change in those young people for the rest of their whole life.
It is also easy to imagine that such rich experiences and recognition would easily go to a person's head and inflate their ego, but not Frances Price. She remains a humble, willing servant to those around her, willing to work quietly, yet effectively, willing to fulfill the role of servant leader as she sets the example for others to follow, and as she raises the bar of possibilities and productivity, always humble.
People that really know me know that that's who I am. Because of the positions I serve, I don't think makes me any different to anybody else. It just gives me opportunities that hopefully some other persons will have one day. And President Winkles has really given me some opportunities through serving on the Strategic Planning Committee, being on the Convention Study Committee, the Bylaw Study Committee, the Policy Review. I mean, he's really given me a lot of tremendous opportunities. And of course, I went to him to get his support before I ran for the position on the American Farm Bureau Women's Committee, which he readily gave to me. So he has really helped me a lot to advance and be where I am today. To be the recipient of the Distinguished Service Award is an honor that I never, in my wildest dreams, had any idea I would ever receive. And as a little shy schoolgirl, I never had any idea that I would be doing all the many things that I'm doing now. But that has come from support and encouragement from a lot of people in my life. And it's really the highlight of my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the 2006 South Carolina Farm Bureau Distinguished Service Award recipient, Frances Price.